Hey, good news. We're here with Ira and Sven-Erik to talk about how to supercharge your advisor recommendations and advisor score using tagging. Join us. Hey, welcome to the Azure Enablement Show, where we'll be discussing the challenges you and our other tech-savvy customers have encountered. Together, we're going to talk with experts to find out how they think about these problems, recommended tools and best practices, and tips they've learned from years of experience that you can use. So today, we're going to be talking about how Azure Advisor can be supercharged with workload tagging. So after you've watched this video, I suggest you check out the resources and other links that we've shared in the show notes below. If you want to ask a question or leave a comment, we'd love to hear from you. And finally, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss this upcoming episodes. So the question I have today, I think would probably be best to answer through customer mode. So let me switch to being a customer. Hey, Ira and Sven-Erik, it's so good to see you. So I have this problem that my org has been struggling with, and I'm wondering if you have a moment to just help me think about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Hi,
So
David.
we have a pretty large Azure presence. And one of the things that we like to use with Azure is this Azure Advisor thing, right? There's that service that Azure provides where it looks at your running resources and tries to give you some tips or advice on how to better use them, how to fix things, how to make things move smoothly. The tricky thing is because we've got so much stuff, we've been having trouble trying to understand a couple of things. One of the things is there's this thing called Azure Score, Advisor Score, that I'd love to hear a little bit more about. And then how do we handle the scale of all these recommendations that we have? So can we take both of these things? I don't know, maybe we start with you, Sven-Erik, about the score stuff. And then, Ira, I want to ask you about what to do about the scale thing we've got.
Sure, I'd be happy to, David. So Advisor Score helps you understand exactly what part of your Azure estate is healthy versus unhealthy. And what we mean by healthy is you don't have any outstanding recommendations from Advisor that you need to take. It really helps you understand your degree of health, how that health is changing over time, and which specific recommendations you should go target and resolve to maximize impact of the recommendations.
Okay, cool. So now I know what that number means and represents. What do I do, Ira, about the fact that I have a bunch of recommendations and I don't always know what the recommendations are in reference to? Is it this project? Is it that project? Like, what can I do about that?
Sure, as a customer, you can always have a lot of Azure resources deployed, and it's so difficult to understand like what is your sandbox environment, what is your production environment, which team owns what. It's just difficult. It's a lot of time and effort for you to go and analyze it. And what you can use right now is you can use tags which you assigned previously to your Azure resources, and you can filter recommendations using these tags. This way, you can focus on the recommendations which are most impactful for you. Let's say you have a business critical application and you only would like to optimize that one. This is where tag filtering comes in.
Okay, cool. So I can set tags on my resources. I can filter on them. Are there best practices for what kinds of tags I should use? What should I call them, or any systems? Like do I just call it Bob, Susan, Fred? Because I've got Bob, Susan, Fred on my team, or like what does Microsoft suggest for like how to organize and think about what kinds of ways and what kinds of tags to put on my resources?
Well-architected framework does a great job here defining the guidance for you, how you should go about tagging. One way to think about tagging is like who owns these resources. This is where you will tag with the team or business unit. You can also tag your resources related to which applications they enable. Let's say this is an ERP application, this is a website, or this is internal application for managing something. That's how you can use it.
So that makes sense because that means so what this is going to allow me to do is say, hey, show me the recommendations associated with my production environment, or show me the
Exactly.
recommendations about my website. So that's going to like make things so much easier. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, the thing I'm a little concerned about now, though, is tag sounds so great. We're going to like go tag happy, and we're going to have tag sprawl. We're going to have so many tags that they're going to go over. Is there any way to make sure that we're staying consistent? Because everybody can make up their own tags. How do we handle that? Maybe Sven-Erik, you have an idea on that.
Yeah, it's a great question, David, and it's true. You can go absolutely wild with tags. One of the best ways to make sure that you tag your resources with descriptive and helpful tags and consistently tag them is to use Azure Policy. That helps you govern and to ensure that resources are consistently applied. Tags are consistently applied across resources.
So it would be possible to have it make sure you can only apply the certain tags or maybe auto apply tags and that sort of stuff. And therefore people aren't just thinking like, oh, should I call this web or website, right?
That's right. Auto applying tags is one of the most common ways our users and customers apply Azure Policy to be consistent with their tagging policies approaches.
So I'm kind of a visual learner. Is there any chance I could get a sense of what this stuff looks like in action?
Yeah, absolutely, David. Be happy to walk you through a couple screenshots here. What you see in your screen right now is the current advisor experience. What it helps you understand is what's your all-up advisor score, so what percentage of your resources effectively are healthy, how has that changed over time, and importantly, how are you doing in each of the 5 dimensions of the well-architected framework: cost, security, reliability, operational excellence, and performance. What you don't have here, though, is a specific sense of which specific impacted resources should you go address to ensure the health of a given workload. And so that's where resource tags, applying those as filters, comes in. So I'm going to share another screen here. In this second screen, you can see how the picture changes when you apply a combination of resource tags to better filter down your advisor score and the associated resource recommendations and resources affected by those resources. In this particular scenario, we've applied 3 resource tag filters. First, business criticality is high. Second, team is equal to MCDS, it's a notional team name. And third, the environment is production. So what this allows us to do is zoom in on only those production resources that are business critical and associated with a specific team. When we do that, the picture changes quite a bit. Now, instead of looking at over 53 storage accounts down in the lower hand of the pane, as we saw with the earlier pre-filtered example, we now know there are actually only 4 specific storage accounts that really affect the advisor score for this particular set of resources defined by these resource tags. So this really shows how you can take an advisor score to the next level by zooming in, and this improves actionability.
I think this gives me a place to go and a thing to start doing. Like I now have sort of renewed interest in making sure that we're tagging super well and using it in an advisor context. So I think I'm going to switch back to host mode here. Okay, back as a host. So I'd like to thank you, and Sven-Erik, for taking the time to talk to me about this. And I'd like to thank all of you at home who are watching this. I hope it was useful to you. And I hope you'll join us again in another episode of the Azure Enablement Show.